The criminal offenses are put on the consumer but not on the builder for any default. So many issues were raised, and because in Azad Maidan we went and did an agitation of one day, the government had to withdraw that bill. They had to appoint a select committee of 21 people, MLAs. A select committee was constituted by government of Maharashtra, in which I was invited. I was given an opportunity of 3 hours presentation. I gave a lot of suggestion. It was accepted. Law was made, and accordingly, on 25th, you know, somewhere in I would say June 2012, the Maharashtra Housing and Regulation Act 2012 got enacted. A precedent assent was also received. Now, having received the precedent assent, the law also was started getting implemented. The central government realized that Maharashtra government is doing this. Why not we make it as a central law? A committee was constituted in the year 2009-10 when the Maharashtra was also working on that. Then when this law came in, the new government came in the year 2014. Then the new government came in, formed a select committee, formed a parliament committee. Everywhere I was also part of that. We initiated a Fight for RERA, a different forum. There also we met Venkaiah Naidu at that time, housing minister in the central government. We met the housing secretary. We also met various MLAs, MPs, and then ministers. The Fight for RERA, a forum was formed under the convenership of Abhay Upadhyay from Calcutta. Across India, we traveled and got hold of so many NGOs. At the end, we could see that a special law for regulating real estate across India came into effect. That came on 1st May 2016. A 1 year gap was given. In the year 2017, the law was getting implemented. Why I am giving you all this history? Anytime a special law is getting enacted, it has its precedent, it has its history. The law was not made just for that or a fun. It was made to take care of certain loopholes in the system which was dominated, exploited by the people who are supposed to take care of it, who are supposed to manage it. Unethical practices by unscrupulous people gave rise to this type of legislation. So the question arises whether RERA will have a superseding effect. The answer is yes. Overriding effect, yes. But will the other law prevail upon? The other law also continues. MOFA continues, state law continues, Apartment Act continues, Development Control Rules continues, Transfer of Property Act continues, Contract Act continues. All that is there. But this is in addition to the general law, a special law to undertake the construction activity. We will further elaborate on this. Now let me come to the first thing is the what is known as the RERA journey. As I was saying, MOFA in the year 1963 started in Maharashtra. It followed by other states. Maharashtra again became a pioneer. Maharashtra Housing Regulation Act 2012 came in, second milestone. The third milestone, as RERA was getting enacted, though in 2009-2010 central government had decided a draft law, but that was not getting implemented. In the year 2013, then prevailing Manmohan Singh government drafted or constituted a parliament committee and drafted a law. At that, Shailaja was the housing minister, and under her leadership that came in. But some or the other that did not see the light of the day in 2014. As we know, the new government came in. The moment new government came in, yes, the north side things were happening more than what was it is required. So in the year 2015, a select committee was constituted, and under the select committee, the further deliberation happened. The parliament select committee started traveling across India, started taking a feedback, and I am fortunate that I was also part of that select committee, wherein I was also involved, invited, discussed, debated. Lot of suggestions have been given, and it is not that only in the parliament discussion, committee discussion, even otherwise also often we used to meet the minister, we used to meet the central secretaries, and other people. And I can always tell you that a person who was handling this was also very close a friend of mine. So that also gave me a leverage to get day-to-day affairs. And Abhay Upadhyay, Fight for RERA convener, he also was very instrument in bringing a lot of people together. Confederation of Resident Welfare Association played a big role, where we have Colonel Tyagi and Mr. Rao and Mr. Srinivasan from Hyderabad. This is also Confederation of Resident Welfare Association is a national body. There also they played a big role. Korwa, that's a Confederation of Resident Welfare Association, Maharashtra Society Welfare Association, various NGOs, plus Fight for RERA. That gave a lot of mileage. And for the first time, let me tell you honestly, the Korwa and Fight for RERA group wanted to go against the opposition and Jantar Mantar, saying that opposition is not allowing the RERA to be passed. We had to meet Rahul Gandhi at that time, take his blessings, and then the official support was supposed to be getting. So we got the official support from Congress, and then ruling party BJP introduced the bill, and the 10th February 2015, major amendments which was suggested by the select committee was accepted in the cabinet. And 10th March 2016, that is 15th March 2016, 10th March 2016 is the next. Rajya Sabha passed the bill, and then Lok Sabha passed the bill on 15th March 2016, because Rajya Sabha was crucial at that time. The government had a minority, but however, that we got it. Then 15th March 2016, Lok Sabha passed the bill. Then 25th March, assent of the president we got. 26th March published in the Gazette, and 24th April, the MARERA made the rules. Various other states made the rules, and government also drafted a common rule. And that is how we could see so many things have started happening. Now, having said this journey, and now it has come on 1st May 2017 across India. This has been implemented after 1 year. Now the question arises again. I go on to do this journey once again. Why this law came in? I have given you the history, but to put it in 2 slides, though there were a lot of regulation like Contract Act, Transfer of Property Act, Development Control Rules, Registration Act. Irrespective of all this, Income Tax Act, GST, Service Tax, everything is there, but it was highly unregulated. There was no transparency, no information, no easy redressal. One has to go to the consumer court, one has to go to the civil court, one has to go to the magistrate court. Invariably, there is a delay in position. Nowhere position takes place that easily. No OC, no BCC. Demand in cash, that is another problem. Not forming the society, no conveyance. Amenities are agreed to be given, but they are not given. No maintenance. Selling the open car parking, matters have traveled up to Supreme Court. They have ruled that parking cannot be sold, still cannot be sold. In spite of that, parkings are even today sold. Fraud and cheating. No approved plans. Title deeds are not given. Flats are sold in super built up area, which is an imaginary area. So with all these issues, government realized that no, it is enough. Let us come out with a legislation which will take care of all this. Though MOFA is there, Apartment Act is there, Ownership Act is there, but that was not sufficient to take care. They were becoming more of a wish list rather than which could control the unscrupulous developer with their mindset of exploiting the consumer. So, what was the defect? Pictorially, in one slide, if I have to say, the problem with MOFA is the builders were supposed to disclose all the documents. They are supposed to give all the plans. People were required to use the RTI or court, kacheri and all that. Engage the lawyer, go to the court. So many things need to be done. So enforcement delivery mechanism was not there. There was no regulator. So if there is no regulator, a law cannot be implemented. A law became more of a wish list rather than it could have a proper control. So therefore, the government realized that we need to have a legislation which will take comprehensive view, holistic view of a real estate. And the law was called Real Estate Regulation and Development Act, we commonly known as RERA. The purpose is regulation and development. The second purpose is transparency and efficiency. There is some disturbance in the Virag. There are some disturbance in the. Can you just see why there is a disturbance? Partha, you can put off your Parthasarathi, please put off your camera and put off your this one, please. Okay. So there is a regulation and development. Then there is a transparency and efficiency, which is another objective. And the third objective is taking care of the consumer. The consumers are the people for whom this law or this flat is constructed. If you are not taking care of the consumer, then whose care we will take care? So the government said, if there is a transparency, it can bring the efficiency. The regulation can also bring for development. It is not that only controlling, it also need to promote the real estate and protecting the consumer. If that has to be done, naturally, there has to be regulated. So Real Estate Regulatory Authority has been established under the law. Then based on this, there is an appellate tribunal. Because the regulator can always, being a quasi-judicial authority, can make some mistakes in giving the verdict. So therefore, we have appellate tribunal. Now appellate tribunal becomes a judicial proceedings where the High Court judge becomes the chairman and one judicial member, one more judicial member, and one of course administrative member. This way minimum 3 members. Regulatory authority, we have again 3 people with the chairman and 2 people. Regulatory authority also has been given a power to appoint adjudicating officer to give the compensation. The adjudicating officer cannot be the below the district level judge, which means to carry out the inquiry, there has to be a equivalent to judge capacity who can award the compensation. This way, the entire RERA has been established with the 3 main objectives, with the basically 2 authority, one regulatory authority, one appellate tribunal for taking care of regulation as well as the judicial proceedings. And of course, thereafter we have second appeal before the High Court, and then we have a Supreme Court SLP. But this is how the entire gamut has been done. Now, as we have to say that it is a central law, though it is a central law, it comes under the concurrent list under Article 246 of the Constitution, Schedule 7. There are 3 various sections. Central Act, that is Union list. Second is the state list, and the third is concurrent list. So what is can be done by the central government cannot be done by state government, and what can be done by the state government cannot be done by central government. But there is something called concurrent list which can be done by either party, either central government or state government. And if the state government does, then the central government approval is required. And if the central government does, the state government need to implement. So this way, the various legislations are coming in the concurrent list. Till 2016 RERA, as I said, that was getting regulated by the respective state government, land being a state subject. and the development being a state subject. Development controls are being done by state government. Town plannings are done by the state government. Respect to state government used to come out with the regional town planning law or country and planning law under that, or they used to go under the Maharashtra Land Revenue Code or Land Revenue Code. That is a agricultural land. They used to maintain the land records, but development used to happen through the regional town planning or country planning law. Now, the central government having realized that these are the innocent flat purchasers who are getting caught by these unscrupulous builders, and we need to take care of such people. The central government enacted this law and told the state government that you implement it. How you implement? By making your own rules in 6 months. You being an appropriate government, establish a regulatory authority. You set up an appellate tribunal in 1 year. And 2016 May and 30th April 2017, a time frame of 1 year was given to the state government to come out with the necessary rule making and also establishing the authorities. Wherever the state government could not establish the authority, they were also given a freedom to appoint existing some authority as an interim authority or a housing secretary as a interim authority. And that is how in various states, like whether it is UP, Karnataka, even Gujarat, various places, before the authority could come in, the interim authority was housing secretary of the state used to be made as a interim authority. However, 1st May 2017, Maharashtra became the pioneer, MP became the pioneer. These are the two states. From the day one, they became online. As on today, we have nearly 20 states and around almost all the union territories have implemented RERA, except 6 to 7 states in northern east state where the land has got some issues. Their RERA has not been implemented. And another state which is an exception state is West Bengal, where West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, the chief minister, has thought it fit that she will come out with West Bengal Housing Regulatory Act. So she has her own Housing and Industry Regulatory Act. So that is her law. Otherwise, other than West Bengal, almost all the states have, out of 28 states right now, leave aside West Bengal, 27 states are implementing, out of which northeast states, about 6 states, Tripura and Himachal Pradesh, where there are certain issues related to the land, they could not implement. Otherwise, rest everybody has implemented. If you want to know the status, yes, we can go to the Central Ministry website, Housing Ministry, Housing and Urban Affairs, Ministry of Union Government. You just write Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. You will get the website. In that, you can see the status. Each state government, under that there is a logo, there is an icon called RERA. Go there, you will get the status report. So we can see that. Now, RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Authority, is a regulator. As a regulator, what it does? It registers the project. It registers the agent. It monitors, supervises, redresses the disputes, control the project, protect all the stakeholders, and most importantly, RERA becomes an administrator of every real estate project. This is very, very important. So far, before RERA, the administrator of a project was used to be the promoter himself. Now the promoter is required to, report to some other authority. The way a charitable trust, you have a trustees who will manage the public fund. But who is the administrator of that charitable trust? Naturally, the charity commissioner. The day charity commissioner decides that that charitable trust has done some manipulative practices, charity commissioner can override the board of directors or other trustees, and he can appoint his own trustees because he is the administrator of that public trust. Same way, once the regulator has come in, every real estate project is administered by the RERA, So long as the developer who is a trustee of that real estate project, who has undertaken the responsibility to take the land, construct it, receive the money, sell it, and he is doing a good job and complying with everything, absolutely no problem. The day he does something wrong, that is the day where the regulator will step in, he will be thrown out, builder will be thrown out, developer will be thrown out, and RERA will step in and RERA will take over the project and complete the project. This is the entire gamut of RERA, and therefore in the year 2017, as it came in implemented, nearly 40 developers went to various high courts. Every high court, the challenge that this is taking away the constitutionally fundamental right, the freedom of carrying out the business. Article 19 and 14 is violated. So therefore, this entire RERA legislation need to be set aside. As you know, central government cannot appear everywhere, and different state government can or high courts can pass a different judgments, and RERA can go to a toss and it may become non-starter. So the union government, which is a very proactive under the leadership of course, earlier Venkaiah Naidu, then Hardeep Singh Puri, who is now the union minister, and under his leadership, his matter went to the Supreme Court with a petition that let all the 40 developer who have filed the cases in different high courts, let it be merged, and let the Supreme Court call for all those petitions and let the Supreme Court hear. Now the Supreme Court also does not deal with the day-to-day affairs. The Supreme Court passed a judgment saying that those who want to go, they can go to the Bombay High Court. Bombay High Court, we had already 6 to 7 petition, and other petitioner, they want to join in Bombay High Court, they can join in the Bombay High Court. Bombay High Court was asked to make a special bench. Within 2 months, they were asked to complete the hearing and deliver the judgment. Believe me, on day-to-day basis, hearing took place for 15 days continuously. The way Ram Mandir hearing was happening for 40 days continuously, RERA hearing happened on continuous basis for 15 days. Across India, different people came in, including fight for RERA, and other people, builders, different people approached. And after the hearing of 15 days, a judgment of 330 page came out. The legislation is about 30 page, but the judgments of 330 page came in. Each section which has been challenged has been upheld by the Bombay High Court, a division bench, quoting various judgments of High Court and Supreme Court. And at the end, it has been said there is no constitutionally invalid. Everything is proper. If the builder is doing everything according to the business set rules and regulation, he has not to worry at all. But if he does something wrong, that is what the RERA should come in and take over. So this way, a celebrity judgment of 6th December 2017, which is known as celebrity judgment, writ petition 2737, Nilkaman Realties Private Limited versus Union of India, with of course another 10 to 15 developers and various people. But if somebody wants to practice RERA and wants to really understand RERA, I would suggest you need to go through that 330 page judgment. How each side has tried to put their point of view. The most important challenge was whether it is a retrospective or retroactive. So the law is not at all retrospective. That also been made clear by the Honorable High Court in the celebrity judgment of Nilkamal Realtors versus Union of India, writ petition 2737 of 2017. However, you can just Google it, you will get this judgment. Just write Supreme High Court judgment, Nilkamal Realty, RERA. You will get it. The law is not a retrospective, but it is a prospective. But at the same time, one need to look at if there are some projects where it was started about 10 years back, but not yet completed. Will that be covered under RERA? The answer is yes, it will be covered under RERA because they have not completed the project. A transitory period that is covered, and the High Court has further made it clear that it will have a retroactive. A project which is incomplete on a date of 1st May 2017 and requires to be registered within 3 months from RERA, and then the people who have booked the flat over last, let us say, I'm just trying to tell you, maybe let us say 10 years back, 5 years back, 15 years back, that project will have a retroactive effect, not a retrospective effect, retroactive. There is a difference between retrospective and retroactive. Retrospective is some legislation which will have a retrospective effect on a backdated. This is not backdated. This is from the first dated as on today, but because you have not completed something which you started about long back, to that extent you will go back. So that is called retroactive, which has been nicely explained in the celebrity judgment of writ petition 2737 of 2017. That is Nilkamal Realtors versus Union of India. Now, I call this RERA as a mother of real estate development law. Why do I call it as a mother of real estate law? Mother is the one who gives birth. Now, for all the law, as far as India is concerned, the mother of all the law is Constitution of India. The Constitution of India under Article 246, Schedule 7 gives you the power either to the state legislation or to the parliament to make the law. That is the mother of all the law. That's where the power is generated. But as far as real estate is concerned, I would call Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016 becomes a parent law. Now, how this parental law gives to other legislation, let us look at it. Most importantly, it is applicable all over India. I have written except Jammu and Kashmir. Sorry to say that this was a word slide which I could have managed to rectify. Now, Jammu and Kashmir has remained as a union territory. So therefore, now it's a part of India. Article 270 has been done away with. So therefore, now it is applicable all over India, including Jammu and Kashmir. I would call, though it is applicable in West Bengal, but West Bengal government has not adopted this. They have not made the rules under this. They have gone with West Bengal real estate industry law, some different. HIRA, they call it as HIRA, West Bengal HIRA, Housing Industry Regulation Act. Anyhow, we will not touch on that. Otherwise, this is a law applicable across India, including Jammu and Kashmir. How it is implemented? Implemented to the various legislation connected to the central law. That means Contract Act, your agency law, your Transfer of Property Act, Registration Act, everything is applicable. Nothing is done away with. But a special treatment is been given for a special transaction. Then of course, the state laws are also applicable, whether it is a regional town planning or country planning law, whether it is related to the land, that is a land revenue code, whether it is related to various other legislation of the state government, whether it is a local government provisions, everything is included, that development control regulation, everything is there. So all the laws will remain. Through that, this mother of the law will implement. The second is it is related to owning and acquiring rights. Very important. It is not only owning, even it is acquiring. So it can be agreement for sale also, acquiring. It could be freehold right, it could be leasehold right. This is also very important to understand. It is not only connected with the freehold and leasehold right. Here I would like to give one example. The time is very short, but I need to give here. In Maharashtra, we have area called, Pune, nearby Pune. That is one locality where the hill station is being developed, and their flats were sold what is known as Lavasa. Lavasa is the name of the place. In Lavasa near Pune, flats were sold, bungalows were sold on lease basis. 9 years lease. A question came before the appellate RERA whether long lease is covered under RERA. The RERA MARERA decided, no, this does not come. So therefore, matter went to the appellate tribunal. Appellate tribunal said, no, no, this is covered under RERA because it is no doubt it is talking about lease of constructed property after construction, but it is under construction property. It is not yet constructed. In reality, it is nothing but agreement for sale, but the title nomenclature is made as a lease, so therefore it is covered under RERA. Matter went on to Honorable High Court. Question of law was decided. High Court also upheld question of law that yes, long lease is covered under RERA, and that is how leasehold rights are also covered under RERA, whether it is land leasehold, plot leasehold. The another important thing what need to understand, when we talk about Apartment Act or Ownership Act, Maharashtra Ownership Act or Goa Ownership Act, Gujarat Ownership Act, or whatever the ownership act that we talk about, Karnataka Ownership Act, there we had ownership of construction property. It was not talking about plotted development. It was not talking about building. But here is the RERA, which says even plotted development is covered under RERA. A building you are constructing and selling is covered under RERA. A flat is constructed is covered under RERA. A question arises before the MARERA. What is apartment? Apartment includes everything, commercial, residential, all the constructed areas. The question arises whether there is an industrial area which is covered under RERA or not. Unfortunately, whatever may be the argument, MARERA gave a ruling that industry is not covered. Why industry is not covered under RERA? Because under MOFA definition, flat definition covers industry. In apartment, industry is done away with. Therefore, RERA has of the view and given a judgment that industrial estates are not covered under RERA. But I have my own reservation. Matter is now in the appellate tribunal. It will be decided. A similar judgment or a matter had come before the Tamil Nadu appellate tribunal. There also similar thing had happened, but appellate tribunal Tamil Nadu upheld that when it talks about real estate project used for commercial or otherwise, the word is used otherwise, residential, commercial or otherwise. So which means it is all inclusive. So industrial is also a under construction property, it is covered. So Tamil Nadu appellate tribunal has upheld. Now we are waiting for Maharashtra government to take a call on that, and maybe High Court matter will travel before the High Court. So far I need to tell you that various judgments of various courts under RERA, even Supreme Court certain judgments of RERA has come in. So it's all so quick things are happening. So it is across the board. Now when we talk about apartment, it's an independent unit and flat. According to me, it covers flat, shop, garage, bungalow, residential, commercial, row house, any constructed area or to be constructed, provided to be agreed to be constructed. Everything is covered under apartment and building. And even the plotted development is covered under RERA. The next question arises, functions of RERA. What are the functions of RERA? As I said, there are two functions of RERA under section 25. One is taking care of its own administration. When I say administration, taking care of its own employees, staff, secretary, various department, technical department, legal department, accounts department, everything, and managing the administration of a RERA authority. The second equally important is administrating the project through our technical team, legal team, financial team, or through the professionals. So administrating the project, taking care of their project report, regular update is another area of section 25, which is functions of RERA. Second is judicial functions. There are various sections which is giving the rise to judicial functions. To tell you, section 31, section 36, 37 and 39. Section 31 talks about the various judicial filing a complaint, how judicial proceedings will take place, with whom you can file the functions, with the adjudicating officer or with the regulatory authority, within what time the judgment will happen, how the proceedings will happen. 36, 37, 37 is about the directions, 36 about the various powers, judicial powers again, 39 is about rectification, review. So all these judicial powers are given to RERA. RERA full form is Real Estate Regulation and Regulatory Authority. It is also synonymously used for Real Estate Regulation and Development Act also. So it is used interchangeably. However, it has a judicial function. Next, it has an advisory function. It also need to give the advice to the central government or state government. There is an advisory council which is formed. Today there is a advisory council's meeting going on in Delhi. Central government, there is an advisory council. So the advisory function also RERA can do in order to bring the transparency, development, promotion. Then we have section 40, which is the executive function. What is the difference between a judicial and executive? Judicial proceedings, you pass the law, you pass the judgment, but that judgment need to be implemented. If you do not implement the judgment, what is the use of the law, or what is the use of the judgment? So therefore, the RERA also has been given the power to execute its own order, including attaching the property, auctioning the property, recovering the money, and of course compounding the offense through the various rules. So executing its own order is also with RERA under section 40. There are totally 92 sections. Then we have regulatory functions. RERA also has a regulatory function which regulates. It comes with the regulatory aspect. It makes the regulation. Now MARERA has made a regulation that every project will have to have the special self-regulatory organizations membership. That means every project has to be registered with the self-regulatory organization, that is the body of the promoter. So this is a regulatory aspect. Now Gujarat RERA has made a regulation that online you have to give the form number 312 and means of finance, how the money will come, how it will be implemented, project report, application of money. There is a great initiative of Gujarat RERA. This has happened because there is a regulatory power which is given. Now Chhattisgarh RERA says, if at all regulatory aspect says, if at all you want to become a promoter, first you have to have your own website, and that website address need to be given to the RERA, so that anything you put there, RERA authority, through the RERA authority also one can look at that website. So this way you cannot hide anything from RERA. So this way regulatory aspects are there. Now the question arises, who are the people involved with RERA? Who are accountable under RERA? Is the landowner, because he is the person who causes construction. It is a developer who takes the development right, or who constructs, takes the permission from the competent authority. Competent authority is also equally responsible and accountable, because the regulatory authority can also pass the strictures against the competent authority. In Maharashtra it has happened. Then architect, engineer, chartered accountant are the professionals who are required to give a certificate for the withdrawal, form number 1, 2, 3, and they are also made accountable. In Gujarat RERA, a chartered accountant has been held professionally guilty because the amount which is received towards the flat purchase has been accounted as a loan, and when the complaint was heard by the regulatory authority, CEO was called and asked, how come a flat booking money has been shown as a advance unsecured loans? CA was not able to give the answer. He confessed, I did not verify, I relied upon the promoter. Then said, you have not carried out your duty properly, so disciplinary action was taken. Maharashtra, similar thing happened. An architect gave a completion certificate when the project was not completed. Matter went to appellate tribunal and went to the High Court. High Court and the appellate tribunal held that architect who has given the wrong certificate of completion need to be accounted, responsibly held, and disciplinary action has been initiated against the architect. Though architect association, various people had a grievances, High Court said nothing doing. So what I'm trying to say is, under RERA, everybody is held accountable. Estate agent is also registered, accountable. Advertisements also held responsible. Customers, of course, because the allottees are a main stakeholder. It is a transaction between a builder and the customer. Estate agent is a mediator, and other people are involved as a stakeholders. So all these stakeholders are there. They are covered under RERA, including, I would put, even a financer. Though it has not been emphasized, but Maharashtra RERA rules define that even the financer need to be made a party because he is a stakeholder. So if I have to put it in a pictorial way and make a bifurcation, I would put it like this. We have a promoter one side, the other side allottee, which was getting regulated under MOFA, Maharashtra Ownership Act or Apartment Ownership Act, or maybe under the respective state law. Now we have a in between real estate agent, we have professionals, we have the contractor, we have other agencies connected with the real estate project. Then we have a landowner and builder, which is part of a promoter, because the landowner is the one who gives the construction permission, therefore landowner and builder. And other side, allottee can also be a single or group person. Real estate agent profession also can be a single or group person. And then if I'm to talking about group person, who can be a group person? It could be again individual, firm, company, assumed person, government, semi-government, local authority. Even government can start a project, affordable housing. Municipality can start. They're all covered under RERA. Here is the situation which I want to tell you. Section, just look at item 11 number, item number 11. Cooperative society registered under Cooperative Societies Act. That is also promoter. The project was developed by a society in Nagpur, a project of 300 crore. They thought housing society is not covered under RERA because all the members are paying. It is for the members, by the members, for the members, of the members. However, the definition of a promoter was very clear, that society is also promoter. They need to be regulated because they are taking money from the flat buyer in the form of, by the way of admitting them as a member. Matter went to the, because they did not register, MARERA, matter came before MARERA. MARERA examined the thing and MARERA ruled, no, you are covered under promoter, so therefore you are required to pay 6 crore, 2% of the cost of the project as a penalty. 6 crore was levied as a penalty. That person went to the appellate tribunal, and after, within 60 days you should have gone in the appellate tribunal. They went late. However, a condonation of delay has been granted by the appellate tribunal. Now the matter is before the appellate tribunal, and I'm sure similar matters where the appellate tribunal has held that if you are liable to register, you are not registered, appellate tribunal also has asked them to register. Here is the situation. Housing society is also a promoter. Now I want to go back to our original slide, MOFA or Ownership Flat Act of respective state. Everything is in place. What is in not place is the traffic constable. You have made a traffic rule, you have done everything, but traffic constable is not there, so you will break the signal. There is no CC camera, there is nobody who will levy the penalty, so you will break the signal, and everybody thinks that they are very careful and no accident can happen, and that is what exactly used to happen under MOFA or Maharashtra Ownership Act or respective state law. So there was no regulator. Partly regulator came in the year 2010, as I said, Competent Authority for Formation of Society, convenes, and that too only in Maharashtra, not in other states. So I would like to put it in RERA, how this is changed. RERA, there is now a regulator. There's a accreditation of the project which is going to happen. It will be compulsorily registered with RERA. There will be mandatory public disclosure will be done on the website of RERA. Promoters are made obligations of the allottees are made. Authority to act as a nodal agency. Government has the power to make rules. Authority has the rules and regulations and directions can be done by the regulatory authority. Dispute redressal mechanisms are in place, and most important, panel provisions. So there are 9 pillars to this entire RERA or RERA. Now, if I have to put it in a proper perspective, I would say it can be all these 9 things can be put into, let us say, 5 pillar: registration of real estate project, real estate agent to be registered, filing of complaints. Most important is financial discipline, and transparent and consumer oriented. The entire RERA provides real estate transaction to be transparent and consumer oriented. This is how I can put it in a 5 definition. Now, what are the responsibility of the promoter? The promoter has been defined under section 2 subsection ZK. In layman language, he is nothing but a builder who constructs and sells flats, receives the money. Maybe as a developer, maybe as a landowner, maybe as a contractor, whatever you do. All these are considered to be the promoter. Promoter is required to register the project before selling it or marketing before RERA. He has to file a declaration about the title, how he will complete the project, when he will complete the project. He also files a declaration that 70% of the money received from the allottee will be account, and that money will be withdrawn only after taking a signature of 3 professionals. He will not do any advertisement without registration, and the most important is veracity in the advertisement. If there is any mistake in the advertisement, naturally he will be held responsible, accountable. Recently, I would like to point out Bombay Dyeing and Manufacturing Limited, that is a Bombay Realty. In Wadala, a project of 520 flats came in. Each flat is costing around 10 crores. About 5 years back, in the year 2010, 11 or 12, I would say, the booking started. People were told that you pay 20%, that is 2 crore. Remaining 8 crore you can pay at the time of possession, inter subvention scheme. No bank loan, nothing, but agreement will be done at the time of possession. People paid 2 crores, got the allotment letter, but in between from 2015-16 onwards, rather 2012 onwards, up to 2017-18, 3-4 times plan changed. What was agreed upon there in the advertisement was not fulfilled. There they were saying each tower will have its own clubhouse, but there later on it was converted into one clubhouse. So many times plans changed. What was shown as a model flat, sample flat, was said to be a demonstration flat, how you can make it, but that is not what they would deliver. That was the stand taken by the promoter. However, MARERA took a stand that yes, whatever you are saying is nothing but it is all prior to RERA. Post RERA, whether any advertisement has been violated, the answer is no. Therefore, MARERA said nothing doing. We will not accept your claim. We will not allow you to withdraw from the project. Now the value of the flats are reduced to 7 lakhs, 6.5 lakhs, sorry, 6.5 crores. People are thinking that now if I pay even 8 crore and buy the flat, the same flat is available for 7 crore or maybe resell 6.5 crore. Why should I further lose? I better lose entire 2 crore or lose the flat because I am not interested in the flat at all. So the MARERA, as they were getting more than 100 complaints out of 520, MARERA took a stand. No, if everybody starts withdrawing, there will be issue with the developer. So we cannot allow the withdrawal. So in the interest of completing the project, the MARERA said we will allow the project to be completed and we will not allow the withdrawal. In case anybody wants to withdraw, there was a terms and condition in the allotment letter that the cancellation will lead to 20% forfeiture. That means 100% of the money, 2 crore, which is paid will be forfeited. Fine. MARERA passed an order saying that if anybody wants to withdraw, that will be as per the booking term, which means 2 crore which you have paid will be forfeited. Now you can imagine these people went in the appellate tribunal. 6 months, 7 months hearing, detailed hearing took place. Different corporate lawyers came in. At the end, 73-page judgment has been passed by the Maharashtra Appellate Tribunal, wherein it said that what was agreed upon, what has been shown, what has been model flat under section 12 has not been complied. It is not necessarily that it has to be prospective, it has a retroactive effect. No doubt this was not discussed in the celebrity judgment of 6th December 2017 of Nilkamal Realtors versus Union of India, writ petition 2737 of 2017. However, a parallels of that was taken by the appellate tribunal. They said when this is applicable for delayed position, it is also applicable for misadvertisement, wrong advertisement, based on which booking has been done. So therefore, a 73-page judgment has been given. Now this is going to be a matter of contention across India, and that is going to make a lot of developers' life miserable. Now I will come to the section 3. So far I was giving you the general view of the RERA. Now let us come to the registration of real estate project. Yes, registration has to be done under section 3 subsection 1, all the new project. And under section 3 subsection 1, proviso says that any project where the OC has not come, completion certificate has not come, they have to register within 3 months from the date of implementing the law. That means by 31st July. Some states have given extended time, but Maharashtra did not give the extended time. And nearly 1,800 developers have been penalized in Maharashtra because they delayed the registration by 2 days, 3 days, 1 month. So the penalties have been levied, which is 100% of the registration fee. Real estate agents, section 9 provides for registration. Now section 3 subsection 2 talks about exempted projects. Now which are the projects exempted? A project, the area of which is less than 500 square meter plot area, or number of units are less than 8, they don't require registration, they are exempted, notwithstanding anything contained in any other law. Subsection 2 of section 3 says which are the projects exempted. So area which does not exceed 500 square meter or does not have more than 8 units, they are exempted. But if you exceed 500 square meter or the 8 units exceeded, then you are required to do the registration. Clause B, subsection 3, section 3 subsection 2 of RERA says all the projects whose occupation certificate or completion certificate is received on 1st May 2007 before the commencement of the act, so they are exempted. Third category which is exempted, clause C of subsection 2 of RERA section 3, the project where there are no new allottees. For example, we have 10 flats in the building and now we are going for a redevelopment and we are going to have 20 flats, but not a single flat is sold outside. All 10 flats are sold to the existing people only. There are new allottees. In that case, you don't require RERA registration. But even if one flat you are selling in the open market, you have to register under RERA. So this is how certain projects are exempted from RERA registration. The question arises whether a project which is registered under RERA only is liable to be tested under RERA. There are different opinions, different things. Haryana Appellate Tribunal says no, even unregistered project comes under RERA. Chhattisgarh High Court has ruled that yes, even unregistered project comes under RERA. MARERA, Maharashtra Real Estate Regulatory Authority, is of the view unregistered project will not come under RERA. Now there is a matter lying in the appellate tribunal. Maybe that will be decided in next 3 to 6 months, and then the of course question of law will come in the High Court, maybe in the Supreme Court. But according to my limited understanding, once a particular authority has been set up for real estate transaction, whether the transaction related to today or earlier transaction, it has to be tested by a regulatory authority, because that is a special authority has been created. When there was no authority, there was no question. If there is an authority, then it should go. So this is my view. Exemption and registration is only section 3 and section 1 and 2 of section 3, subsection 1 and section 2 of section 3 is only one limited aspect. Small builders who have got less than 8 units or less than 400 square meter, 500 square meter, they should not be penalized. So they are only granted exemption from registration. I just want to ask a small question here. Suppose I've got 7 flats, I've got 400 square meter land, I am not required to register. Does it mean that I can take money from the people? I do not register the agreement for sale. I am not registered under RERA, so I am not covered under RERA. Does it mean that he has to go in the civil court? RERA cannot protect these small people. If a legislation is made in order to protect the small people, and you are conveniently saying that small people will not be helped because you are exempted from RERA registration, I think it is a great injustice. Rather, I would say the law should always take care of minority, take care of small people. Who are these people who are going with the small housing, small complex? They're very down to earth people, very economically weaker people, and the legislation does not support them. Who it will support? So I am of the clear view that the exemption under RERA does not mean that they are exempted from the compliance or provisions of a RERA. That is my view. Section 4, let me take it further. Closure of information by the promoter, disclosure of information by promoter. Promoter need to disclose where is information at the time of registration. It could be a number and size of the layout, proposed project, its facilities, approval of each phase, declaration by the promoter. He has to give a declaration on a stamp paper. What is his title? Is there any encumbrance? He has to give the specimen of the agreement. He has to give the sale agreement. He has to give the conveyance deed. He has to give the allotment letter. All these format need to be uploaded on the website. Project to be completed as per the terms of registration. Schedule of the completion, what he has given on the form B of the RERA registration. Project to be completed within the sanction time limit, whatever is the sanction time, within that he has to finish. And most importantly, what happens is he has to also the declaration, 70% of the money has to be kept in the RERA designation account. It should be properly accounted for. One cannot take away with anything and everything. Then comes section 5 and 6. Section 5 talks about granting of registration. The moment one applies for the registration, section 5 subsection 1 clause A says within 30 days the registration has to be granted or it should be rejected, or any clauses for any reason you have to reject it. If you don't reject, subsection 2 of section 5 says it will be deemed to have been registered. I will give an example. In Maharashtra on 31st July was the last date when we had to do the registration. Nearly 10 to 12,000 projects came to be registered on one day. That was on 31st July 2017. And within 30 days, 10 to 12,000 projects was to be processed by MARERA and granted registration. So what happened is MARERA, after 30 days, immediately on the 29th days and 30th days, without verifying any title, everybody was granted registration. So this way, many projects which were not supposed to be registered also have been registered. Why they were not supposed to be registered? Because the title is not clear, the approval is not there, your plans are not passed by the planning authority, still the registration was granted. The reason being 30 days were over. So section 5(1)(b) says within 30 days, if you are not able to do it, you have to reject with the reasons. Of course, section 6 says that after the expiry of the period, you can extend the period by 1 year. That means you have to apply for the re-registration and it can be extended by 1 year. Of course, if there is a force majeure like COVID-19, which various governments have given different measure, Maharashtra has given 3 months relief. Gujarat has given 1 year relief. So different state governments have come out with a different guideline, and COVID-19 has been treated as a force majeure. And Gujarat wants promoter to apply that because of force majeure he is not able to complete. In Maharashtra, Somoto, all the 25,000 projects registered where the period has expired, there automatically without paying any fees, the extension is given. In Gujarat also fees are not charged, but however, an application has to be made by the promoter, then only RERA will grant them, maybe maximum 1 year force majeure. Now, Section 6 was challenged in the Honorable High Court under the celebrity judgment. The Honorable High Court went through the judgment, this one, and said 1 year extension can only be given by RERA. Possibly this is not right because there may be some compelling situation where RERA can look into and they may want to give a further period. In such cases, they should be given such freedom. RERA has been given the authority, even if they want to give more than 1 year, they can give. Considering this celebrity judgment verdict, MARERA has come out with a circular or an order stating that on 28th March 2019, saying that in case there is a project where the first extension will be given 1 year without any problem, but if you want extension of more than 1 year or expiry of 1 year, then you have to form an assuming allotee, and 2/3 of the allotee, more than 51% of the allottees, more than 51% of the allottees should give the consent to the promoter to take the extension. If they don't give the extension, then MARERA does not give the extension. Then they will have to go in the appeal, that will be rejected, and then I don't know what will happen. But MARERA has right now passed an order saying that the assumed allotee has to be formed, and they will have to give 51% and above people should give the consent for giving the additional extension. If they give the consent for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years extension, naturally the RERA also gives them the extension. Now suppose a project has been granted registration or deemed to have been registration. What happens? Builder gets a login and password. He will be given a registration number, registration certificate, and period of registration will be mentioned in the registration certificate, and within that period he has to complete the project. Now if you have seen, I was dealing one by one, section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let us come to section 7, recovery of registration, revocation of registration of real estate project. See, if any promoter, unscrupulous promoter does something wrong and does unfair trade practice, section 7 provides for revocation of registration. Revocation can take place under two methods, one on suo motu or on the basis of the complaint filed by the stakeholder. Now stakeholder can be even a competent authority saying that he has violated the plan. He has done approved plan is for 3 building, 3-story. He has done 6-story. He has constructed more than what was permitted. So competent authority can complain to the RERA and get the cancellation done, or any aggrieved party like landowner or builder or other association allottees or flat buyer. If violations have taken place, the registration of project can be done. So it can also be based on the public report. I will tell you DS Kulkarni's matter, where he has been put behind the bar, a Pune developer, and his lot of projects were in trouble. And similarly, Maharashtra has already taken near about 984 projects which are ongoing, where the periods have expired and they have taken a suo motu action why this project should not be handed over to Ashwin Allotee. So this type of show cause notice also has been given. Section 8, consequences of cancellation. Once it is cancelled, promoter will not be allowed to execute the project. Project may be completed, first right of refusal will be given to Ashwin Allotty, or otherwise it vests with the promoter. Sorry, RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Authority. I'll just give an example. Suppose I got, I'll just give you a live case which will make things more clear. 25 acres, a project in Nagpur, one developer wanted to develop. He was not knowing anything about the RERA and all. On the last day, some of his friend helped him to go online and do the registration. Entire 25 acres, about 40 buildings to be constructed. He got the plan approved for 40 buildings, and he was to start only one building, but not knowing anything, he registered entire 25 acres and also registered for entire 40 buildings at one go, paid the registration fee 10 lakhs, and project was registered. After 6 months, he realized that within 5 years he will not be able to complete all 40 buildings. He also realized that if I don't complete, the project will be cancelled, and that entire 25 acres will be taken away by RERA, and I will be nowhere. And he came from Nagpur to me, discussed with me. We had to debate, discuss, and find out the solution. We did find out a solution that we will now, as and when the first building is completed or getting completed, what we'll do is we'll close this registration. Entire 10 lakhs will be going, no problem. We'll close this registration because withdrawal is not possible. There's no withdrawal of the registration once the registration granted. It has to be cancelled. So we'll close the registration saying that we have completed one project. Remaining 24, you will register separately. A disclosure can be made, and a mistake which has been happening, like in accountant, we understand if you pass a wrong entry, it can be rectified by a further journal entry. The same logic was applied here. My mathematical logical mind came in. We discussed with the MARERA chairman, which he accepted. Yes, that is the best solution that you could see, because I cannot cancel. If I cancel, then it will be coming to me. We'll have to close the project. In order to close the project, you have to at least complete one project, complete one, come back to us, close the project, then do the new registration. So this is what happens. So once the project is cancelled, it gets vested with the regulatory authority, and you are debarred from accessing any website. Your photograph will be displayed in the website. You become very famous across the globe, and if there is any balance, it will be frozen. It will be handed over to the Ashwin Allotty or a builder who completes the project. Section 9, yes, agents will be registered, because registration of the agent is also very important, because agents are the people who missell the project. They lure the customers, they give the wrong information, give uh, unfulfilling promises. Therefore they are made accountable and responsible, and unless until they register, they cannot facilitate registration for RERA project. Initially, the first Sai Estate Consultants, Chambur Sai Chambur Consultants was the first convicted under MARERA, where he sold unregistered projects, though he was a registered RERA agent, and therefore a penalty was levied on him. Similar things have happened in other states also. So section 10 lays down the functions of real estate agent. He has not to facilitate sale of unregistered project, maintain the books of account, which is required under income tax, same books, not to involve in unfair trade, facilitate all the information, documents, everything. He should do that. Obligation of the promoter, yes, section 3 says you have to register. Unless until you register, you cannot offer for sale, advertisement, marketing, brochure, nothing can be done. Section 4 says you have to give all the information, upload information of 70% of the money that you receive from the allotee should be kept in a separate account. It should be used for the land cost and construction cost. It can be withdrawn only by certificate given by architect, engineer, and chartered accountant. Otherwise, you cannot. Section 11 talks about disclose all the information, details of the project. Section 11, subsection 4 Clause E says you have to register the society once you sell more than 50% of the units. Section 12 says if you do some mis-selling, misinformation, you will be liable for compensation and cancellation of the booking. Section 13 says promoter cannot take more than 10% of the money unless until the project agreement is registered, which means registration is compulsory if you want to receive more than 10%, otherwise it is a violation. Section 14 says you have to do the construction as per the approved plan only. There is no question of doing other than the approved plan. And you are also liable for defect liability. Earlier under MOFA it was 3 years, or any state law it was 3 years. Now it is 5 years under RERA. Defect liability for the defects in the structural and workmanship. Section 15 says if you want to sell your project to XYZ having done some booking, because people have booked based on your brand value, your track record. Now you want to sell the project to somebody else, you need 2/3 allottee's consent, also the consent of the authority. Otherwise you cannot sell. Section 16 says you have to have a title insurance, and you have to building also need to be insured. And right now that has not been notified because title insurance of the by the state government has not come. Of course, many people are doing building insurance for the earthquake or anything, natural calamities. Section 17 says the builder has to transfer the title within 3 months of the receipt of the OC, because society will be anyhow registered once you sell more than 50%. And naturally, within 3 months of receipt of OC, you have to give the title transfer. Section 18 says that within the agreed time limit, position has to be given. Otherwise, the associate allottee has the right to ask for the refund with interest. Suppose you have said by 31st December 2019 you will give the portion, you have failed to give the portion by that date as per the agreement. On 1st January 2020, allottee can make a complaint and get the amount of refund, entire money that you have paid along with the interest. This is also possible that you may continue with the project. In that case, any money that you have invested, you will be in a position to ask for not only the flat, also the interest at the rate of SBI plus 2%, marginal cost of lending rate, maximum marginal cost of lending rate MLRC plus 2% of SBI can be claimed as a natural interest, or the what is known as compensation for delay in the project. Whatever the money you have paid till that date, till the date of as agreed in the position date, till that date, let us say you have paid 10 lakhs. On that 10 lakhs, interest will be paid till you hand over the position. Yes, the most important is if you are not happy, yes, you are also entitled to walk out of the project because he has not completed within the time limit. In that case, he has to pay you the interest, he has to pay you the compensation, he has to pay the principal amount. Now I come back to the original of my slide, MOFA slide, where there were two missing link. Now that missing link I have put it, that is, now real estate regulatory authority will be there to ensure compliance and enforcement, and there is an appellate tribunal which will also take care of the appeals. So these were various segments which was there earlier also is continuing, but what has happened is now real estate regulatory authority to ensure compliance and enforcement of various provisions, 92 sections of RERA is there, plus there is a appellate tribunal. Now in nutshell I would say RERA is not a separate approval authority as claimed by many people. What is it? It is an authority which is screening authority. Just look at the in between. Earlier there was a promoter getting the approval from the planning authority, doing the BMC and selling the flat to the allottee. That two things continue. Now before it is sold to the consumer, a regulatory authority will see whether the promoter is a genuine promoter, what is his background, whether he has taken the approval, whether he has a title report, whether he is a all this will be verified. What is this agreement for sale? What is the conveyance? What is the allotment letter? Everything will be taken on the website. He will verify the purchase, and then it will be shown to the purchaser. Yes, all these are proper. We have granted the registration. Therefore, if at all anything wrong, we are there to help you in redressing of the dispute also. So this way, the regulatory authority becomes a screening authority, or an authority which will collect all the information related to the project at one place, one website, so that title report, everything can happen, and thereafter it becomes easier. RERA, we have 10 chapters. The basically preliminary registration functions and duties of the allottee. These are the 4 chapters which are very important. The rest of the chapter like 5, 6, 7. These are the 3 which are more of a theoretical nature as to how the authority gets constituted, how they are functioning. 8 is very important, where the offenses and penalties are levied, because it is a huge. 9 is not relevant because that is related to finance, accounts, audit of a regulatory authority and adjudicating officer, or maybe appellate tribunal. That is nothing to with it. How their accounts will be maintained, how the format, and how it will be placed before the government, how C&G will carry out the audit, all that. Then of course miscellaneous. So this way, if you look at, basically there are 5 chapters which are very, very important. 1, 2, 3, 4, and offenses and penalties, chapter number 8, 4 and chapter number 8. Rest of the chapters are more of a theoretical in nature. What is the right of the allottees? Yes, you can collect the document, you get the certificate of completion, right to claim compensation, right to withdraw from the project, right to execute the registered project, and agreement for sale. Duties of the allottee: you need to verify the builder's registration, not to buy the apartment in unregistered project, not to pay more than 10% unless until agreement is registered, make necessary payment as per the agreement, otherwise you will have to pay the interest for delayed payment, participate in formation of society, participate in the registration of conveyance deed, take physical position and make the payment. There are authorities like Central Advisory Council, section 41 and 42. Today there is a Central Advisory Council's meeting at central government. RERA section 20 to 40. Appellate Tribunal, RERA also appoints adjudicating officer, and High Court, section 58. Advisory regulatory authority has got 3 people, which I will discuss little later, but functions of regulatory authority like adjudicating, promoting registration, consumer redressal dispute, and regulation rule making. Power of regulatory authority: yes, it has a power to revocate the registration, it has the power to ensure the compliance, appoint the inquiry officer, adjudicating officer. Central Advisory Council: yes, government authorities and 10 public representatives form advisory council under the chairmanship of the housing minister, and that takes place. Central Advisory Council has the function to advise central government or state government implementing the law, policy regarding protecting the consumer, postal growth, and all that advisory role. Appellate Tribunal, chairman is High Court judge or Supreme Court judge, and then one judicial person and one technical person or administrative member. Functions of Appellate Tribunal: to hear the disputes, appeals of the RERA and adjudicating officer. They are not bound by the civil code, civil procedure code, or evidence act. Right to represent: yes, chartered accountant has a right to represent, cost accountant, company secretary, and advocate. These are the 4 people who can represent before the authorities. Represent a promoter, represent a real estate regulatory authority, registration agent, represent a person before RERA or any person, aggrieved person. All this can be done. Yes, there is a penalty for not registration up to 10% of the cost of the project. And section 52(2) says, if you order it for registration, still you don't register, another 10% penalty. Offenses: false information you give, another 5% of the cost of the project. in section 4 if you give false information at the time of registration. Contravene any other sections, again 5% cost of the project. Look at the penalties which are based on the cost of the project. Estate agent, you don't register, again 5% of the cost of the flat which you have sold, or 10,000 per such default per day. Failure to comply with the order of the authority by the promoter, again penalty up to 5%. Failure to comply with the order of appellate tribunal, yes, up to 10%. It can be a penalty, 3 years imprisonment. Failure to comply with the order of the authority by the estate agent, again 5% of the cost of the project. So there are 3 people whom the penalties are levied: estate agent, allottee, and promoter. Failure to comply with certain provisions of the law, failure to comply with the order of the RERA, failure to comply with the appellate tribunal order. So these are the authorities are given the order. Even the allottees can be penalized. Section 70 talks about compounding of offense by court levying a penalty. Section 71 talks about how the adjudicating officer will calculate how the adjudicating officer will be appointed and how compensation need to be worked out. Section 72 gives us the factors for cancellation, working on the compensation. 73, 74, 75, as I said, it's all related to the accounts and audit of the government, that is of the regulatory authority and the appellate tribunal. Miscellaneous chapter, the civil court is barred. One cannot go to civil court post RERA. You have to go to the only RERA or consumer court. Cognizance of offense, yes, not below the rank of magistrate court can take the cognizance of any offense under the law. Delegation, you cannot do other than, you can do any delegation, but rule making cannot be delegated. Power of the appropriate government to supersede the authority, yes, they can supersede, they can ask for any information. Power of the appropriate government, power to make regulations with the authority, regulatory authority can make this one. Levy of rules, it has to be laid within 30 days before the assembly. Members to be considered as a public servant, that means appellate tribunal and adjudicating officer plus appellate tribunal members are considered as the public servant. Application of other laws not barred, as I said, Contract Act, law of limitation, transfer of property, all this is there, but this is in addition to all that and not derogation of other provisions. This Act 89 says RERA will have a overriding effect. Any authority, adjudicating officer, appellate tribunal takes any action, decision which is in good faith, they will be protected, immunity is given. Power to remove difficulties are with the central government. 2 years are over, they had removed some of the difficulties. Last is, because the new law has come, Maharashtra Housing and Regulation and Development Act, which was enacted by Maharashtra, was repealed, because from 2012 to 2016 there were a lot of development which happened, regulatory authority was getting appointed, rules were getting framed, so that was been cancelled. In the year 2012, when we were talking about housing regulation and development and amendment in the MOFA, I had an opportunity to visit Rashtrapati Bhavan also, meet the then Rashtrapati, and explain with the delegations. We had a delegation of 25 people, and 3 days I was continuously at Rashtrapati Bhavan meeting various IAS officers, because getting the approval amendment to the MOFA was not easy. I was explaining all the concerns of Maharashtra people and the flat owners, and Rashtrapati and her husband both were listening very carefully. I had written about 40 books, and my wife and my 2 sons, 4 of us, and we presented our books, whatever I had written, about 40 books, a few copies which was available readily, I presented to Rashtrapati at that time. This is my book on deemed conveyance, where I was part of the government active, and my book was published and by the then CM Prithviraj Chavan, which is a forward message of Rashtrapati herself. And Gautam Chatterjee was a housing secretary at that time, Sitaram Kunte, all the government officers except myself was the private person. And I had an opportunity to give about 1 hour lecture on deemed conveyance in this Yashwantrao Chavan Pratishthan, where 3,500 people were there, all housing society. This is Gautam Chatterjee, who is the RERA chairman, whom I was representing and giving my book. Recently, we have also published a book authored by one IAS officer retired, Subhash Lala, along with me. And we had about 50 experts in that as a study group. In Masya, we have a system of creating a study group and bringing people together of different segment, and then giving the representation to the people and publish it. Same way, we are now working on RERA around different states, 2 to 3 people we are taking, and we have formed a study group to come out with the various study notes and a publication for RERA also. Anybody is interested, they can always contact me and get yourself with these numbers. You can become a part of study group, and we want to make it as a national this one. And then at the end of the day, what I would say is that we always need to see that the knowledge is shared. It is not secret. We have to empower others people with the knowledge that we have gained. With this, thank you very much for getting involved and in the discussion, and I hope I could do some justice to the topic. I have taken more time than what is required, but that was this one. In 2 hours 1 minute I could complete my presentation. Now if you have any questions, you are most welcome. Thank you very much. I think we have with us Parthasarathi, who will read the questions on my behalf. And over to, yeah,
Yeah,
Partha, you can read.
yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll just go through the lot of questions which have come in. Now, I'll just not read the whole question. I have summarized it. Mr. Rajesh has asked whether what is the size of the plot, if it is a plotted development, what is the size of the plot which is required so that it has to be registered?
Whether it is a plotted building or anywhere, the 500 is the minimum square meter of the total project. So therefore, whether it is you take 1 acre, 2 acre, half acre, and you do the plotting, still that will be covered. So there is no minimum prescribed for plotting. Plotting sale everywhere, it is 500 square meter. Yeah.
So the second question is whether the interest paid to the partner will be calculated in the cost. If there are
There
partners,
is
if the
a
interest is paid, will
yeah,
be
there is a cost of the project which can be withdrawn by the RERA designated account through the RERA designated account. There is no clarity as to whether this is permitted or not, but if it is provided in the agreement and it is a cost which is to be paid to the partner, if you strict sense, if you ask me, no. But since there is no clarity, one can take a stand and claim it has a cost. There is no issue.
and yeah. Uh, Yashvi Shah has asked what is the day when the liability of registration arises? When does the project actually needs to be registered?
Excellent question. Section 3 says no sale, marketing, advertisement can happen unless until the project is registered. Suppose you get an approval, you have started construction, the day you don't want to sell, you don't require registration. Suppose I start the project in 2020 and next 5 years I don't want to sell, not want to market anything, then don't have to register. But in the 5th year, when you really want to sell, that is the time where you have to register the project. Registration clicks only when you want to sell or market, advertise. Unless until you do that, you cannot. So that is the cutoff date.
And what happens if the project after it is registered and it exceeds the timelines? Then what happens? I think it has been explained already to section 7 and 8.
Section 6,
But still, you can.
section 6 you will have to apply for what is known as you have to apply under section 6 for extension. 1 year extension you will get, and beyond 1 year also you want more extension. Then you have to convince the authority as to why and how that you are not able to do within 1 year. And then of course if the authority gets convinced, they may give further extension. As far as MARERA is concerned, they are taking the consent from the assessment allottees. No, let this builder do it. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Sai Shetty has asked whether once initially the project was with the financer, and afterwards, in the due course, the financier has sold it to someone else, then who is liable for the whole project then afterwards?
See, the moment project is sold, naturally that has to be recorded in RERA. If that is not recorded in RERA, that transaction becomes null and void. So therefore, the very important thing is section 15 says that you need to inform to the RERA. Unless until you inform the RERA, the authority, or rather I would say the same person continues to be the promoter, though he has entered into an agreement, because unless until you register with RERA, you cannot sell. So old person only will be liable. So if you are selling it, you have to inform to the RERA, get the 2/3 allottee's consent, and then change the promoter in the RERA record. Then only the financer will come into picture. Yeah.
Couple of questions have come, sir, related to conveyance of the land and also addressing section 17 of RERA. So, person has asked what exactly is meant by conveyance, and someone, Mr. Vinay from Bangalore, has asked that in case of section 17, there are some different type of concept of transfer of UDS of the land to the buyers. And how to address this? How to take
UDS
the
means
how does that transfer?
undivided share in the property. Now, this is a big debate. What I would do is maybe I will handle it in a different session, but right now I would put it like this. When we talk about conveyance means transferring the right title interest in the property. Now, there are two properties which are getting transferred. One is the property related to that flat, and the second is property related to the land. Now, under the Apartment Act, undivided right title interest in the land as well as building is transferred. Under the cooperative housing society or a company, if the complex is registered under that, naturally it will be the land which will be conveyed to the common areas, conveyed to the society. Individual flat will still be conveyed to the individual flat owner. Initially there is an agreement for sale, there will be sale deed of the flat, and initially in the agreement for sale it will be mentioned that conveyance of the common area will be done to the uh, association of allottee. So therefore common area like land, building, terrace, lift, water tank, garden, parking, everything will be conveyed to the association allottee as a common body. So this way there are two conveyances which is going to happen. Now in Bangalore, we don't have, though there is a Karnataka Ownership Flat Act, but the concept of housing society is very much less there in South. There we have a RWA, and there the agreement for sale is made, a declaration under Apartment Act is done. Thereafter, undivided share in the properties are given by way of deed of apartment. Now, post RERA, according to me, the undivided share in the property will be done away with, because section 17 says common area has to be given to the association allottee. So therefore, common area cannot be given to the flat buyer. Flat buyer will only have what is known as flat title. The Maharashtra model, MOFA model, has been adopted across India by RERA. Because at the end of the day, Maharashtra and Mumbai has becoming a pioneer in multi-story building, and this model has been adopted by RERA, saying that common area need to be given to the association allottee, so that association allottee will have a control over the common areas, and unless until there is a title in their name, they will not be able to do the justice to that, and that has been picked up nicely in RERA. Of course, there are transitory issues in Karnataka, which I am aware. We will discuss it separately in one of the sessions as and when the time permits. Yeah.
Yeah, the next question is regarding force majeure. Vinay has asked whether this force majeure of 3 months or 6 months is over and above the 1 year extension which is permissible.
Naturally, that 1 year has nothing to do. This force majeure, whatever the time you get, that is over and above the 1 year extension. Otherwise, you were able to apply and take it. Force majeure, you don't require any further efforts made, because this is lockdown, which everybody knows. Yeah.
CA Babita has asked whether, suppose if the project completion date was 2019 and if the promoter is unable to complete the project, can he surrender the project to the RERA authority? Is there any provision of surrendering the project?
So the moment you have not completed, which means section 8, if you read the section, obligation of the authority on the revocation of the project or cancellation of the project or lapse of the project. So if you don't surrender also, nobody takes over your headache. So it is the some purchaser make a complaint and you are asked in the RERA and then you raise your hand, then the RERA will say, okay, I will revoke your registration. You cannot suo motu. I have not come across any developer who has gone suo motu and given a surrender to the RERA. But yes, a lot of allottees have made a complaint. Based on the complaint, yes, RERA has cancelled the registration. Similarly, 984 projects in MARERA, suo motu action has been taken because they were not giving the form number 1, 2, 3. They were not doing any quarterly update. They are not done anything, and there is no extension applied. Period which has been asked for 1 year, 2 years, that is over. Then they have taken a suo motu action, and then they have said that the property has vested with the authority. Yeah. Next.
So there are two complaints, sir. Two complaints relating to the land, related to land in this. One is there any time limit for getting the conveyance completed under RERA? And the second question is,
Within 3
what
months,
is the
within 3 months from the date of getting the occupation certificate. Suppose you don't get this one, you can apply to RERA 1. As far as Maharashtra is concerned, we have a deemed conveyance concept. You can still go and complain to the competent authority under RERA, MOFA, and get the deemed conveyance also. That enabling provision has been made in the MARERA rules. However, in other states, you can go to the RERA. RERA will be like a quasi judicial authority. They can appoint a person and get it executed.
And the second question is related to the long lease, which you are talking about the Lavasa city. So, what is, somebody wanted to know what is meant by long lease?
Long lease, see, I just want to tell you, I was personally representing a matter of a similar matter where 999 years lease was said. The agreement to lease, in the content it says the flat will be constructed within a period of 5 years and you have to pay 2 crore. This is the time schedule. And after the handing over the project, so the flat is given to you on agreement to lease, and lease deed will be made for 999 years. When I was representing before the authority was so much laughing. Honestly, he said to the other side, sir, we have done an agreement to lease, and agreement to lease does not come under RERA. Then authority said, so many things you are writing, builders, and there is something called sixth sense. ये तो beyond है. आप मुझे बताओ, these are his words. बिल्डर साहब, आप मुझे बताओ कौन सा बिल्डिंग 9999 ईयर्स रुकने वाला है, 1000 साल एक बिल्डिंग रुकने वाला है. आप क्या एग्रीमेंट कर रहे हो, किस तरह का बात करते हो, और ऊपर से आप बोलते हो कि एग्रीमेंट फॉर लीज करके लिखते हो और आप बोलते हो कि ये रेरा में नहीं आता है. ऐसा गद्दारी आप लोग नहीं करना चाहिए. देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड सिक्स सेंस. वी ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट यू आर ट्राइंग टू डू. दिस इज अनडन. तो मेरा कहने का तात्पर्य ये है कि लीज का मतलब है, एक तो लैंड लीज हो सकता है 99 इयर्स परपेचुअल लीज. 999 मतलब परपेचुअल लीज है. Therefore, if somebody is saying that I am giving you a lease for 30 years, 60 years, still that will be covered under RERA. Yeah.
Mr. Nandlal Jain from Noida is asking that he has already paid 30% of the consideration amount and doesn't have a agreement for sale, only an allotment letter. He was promised to be given flat in 3 years. Now it is almost 7 years. So what should we do? How should we proceed?
See, if you want to continue in the project, yes, definitely you can make an application to RERA under section 13. Under section 31, read with section 13, that agreement has not been registered, so please register. Still you don't want to continue in the project because the timeline is gone ahead, so you can take the help of similar judgment of MARERA, which I was just discussing about Bombay Realty. ICCA Tower in Wadala, 73-page judgment, wherein it says that though agreement is not made, but there is something called reasonable time limit within which project has to be completed. As per the Supreme Court judgment in the case of Pioneer Land Urban Developers, a matter came in that time limit was not written in the agreement. There it was said that minimum time within which any project need to be delivered is 3 years, and here is the case where more than 5 years are over. So therefore, the allotee is within his right to exit from the project. Same way, though agreement is not made, reasonable time limit is 3 years as per the Supreme Court judgment. It has become a reportable judgment, so it has become a law of the land. So you can take the help of that, and you can exit from the scheme also and ask for the refund along with the interest.
Yeah. One more question has come regarding redevelopment, sir. This question is whether, in case of redevelopment project, if the existing residents are given that extra area in the redevelopment project and nothing is sold beyond that, even that extra area will be considered as a sale part, or it will be considered as an not in the, whether that is required to be registered, that project.
If all the flats are extra areas are sold to the same people, same flat owners, then there is no need of registration. But even one person is given outside, 100%, one flat is given outside, then registration is required. Once the project is registered, any additional area purchased by the existing members also becomes a part of RERA compliance, and they will be accountable and responsible under RERA.
And one more related to the payment part, the 70%. I know that Mr. Actually, to inform everyone, Mr. Prabhu is actually suffering with a severe throat infection, but still he has managed to complete the 2 hour without any break actually. So I just like to mention that. But anyways, he has that passion to do that. So, sir, one more thing is somebody has asked whether for the designated account, whether the out of the 100% money, can the developer take 2 checks, one of 70% and one of 30%, so that he deposits 70% in designated and 30 takes away?
Yeah, that can be done. There's a accounting which you can do, but basically 70% has to come in RERA design account. Many people do 100% in one account, then they split into 2 accounts, 70 and 30. 30% they treat it as an operation account. 70% is a RERA design account. You can adopt any policies that you want. RERA has not yet come out with any specific thing. Therefore, people are adopting their own way. That is okay.
I think, sir, there are still some more questions. I don't know what the time limit is, or whether we can take it.
We have to ask the organizer if it is.
Sir, we have a sufficient time, but what we suggest, we have a created WhatsApp group for the participants, this specific WhatsApp group. So people can ask their query there also. And if not joined, they can join. We have send the WhatsApp link also in their mail. So from there they can join also. If not join, kindly note down my number already. I mean, some of already have my number. If not, then they can send me the request and we will add them in a WhatsApp group. My number is 7043 154 500. 7043 154 500. So we can take their own.
Hello, Virag, you will have to speak very slowly. Give the number very slowly.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. 7043 154 500.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think it has been a wonderful session, and thank you very much for giving an opportunity. And I hope I have done the justice. And those questions which have come, definitely I'll try to answer in the WhatsApp group. I am also there in the WhatsApp group, I suppose, and I will try to answer them.
Yes.
All these questions you can just email me if possible, so that I'll also try to prepare the answer. Okay. So everybody will get at one side, one place, all the answers to the question, and that can become a part of notes also. Those who want PPT, you can share the PPT with them. I will just give you. You may send them either by email or by what you call WhatsApp. Thank you very much.
WhatsApp. Yes. Thank you so much all. We are ending webinar right away here. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Parthaji. Thank you so much for question answering session. Thank you.